call to order the Thursday, February 10th, 2022 Watertown City Board of Adjustment meeting. Can I get a roll call?
Yes. Dolly.
Here.
Culhane.
Here.
Oletsky. Here. Dargis Johnson.
Here.
Hanson.
Here.
Kays.
Here.
And then Brink, Ford, and Spire are absent. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Moving on to item 3 on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the January 20th, 2022 meeting. Need a motion on that?
So moved, Culhane.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second Oletsky.
Any additional discussions on those meeting minutes? All right, we'll take a vote on that.
All right. Dolly.
Yes.
Culhane.
Yes.
Oletsky.
Yes.
Dargis Johnson.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Kays.
Yes.
That motion passes. Moving on to item 4 is the regular agenda. 4A is board consideration of a conditional use establishing a residential apartment on the main level in the rear of a commercial building in the C1 Community Commercial District. Brandy?
Yes. Thank you, Blake. So this is a conditional use application for just that, requesting an apartment in the rear of a commercial building in the C1 Community Commercial District, which is downtown. I can turn that zoning on so you can see the adjacent zoning districts as well. The current business, it's an auto body repair shop, and just asking to include that apartment in the rear. And the address here is 10 2nd Street Southwest. And you can see adjacent wise there, it is zoned C1 as well. And then there are, you get more residential in nature with that block to the west. And then, and that is the conditional use in the C1 district, that if you have it in the rear of the property. So with that, I'll open it up to any questions.
Isn't that a residential home just to the south
Oh, let's turn that off there.
Yes.
Yeah,
with that big garage and
yeah, that entire stretch there.
Are they going to add ingress or egress out on the rear? My recollection is there isn't anything on the back of that building.
And the applicant is here if you do have questions. There is the
I'll go ahead
alley.
and open the public hearing as well.
The one of the things, if I could point out, Mr. Chair, this is Stacy.
Yes, Stacy.
Thank you. The ordinance does require, this is one of those instances where we do have some conditions within our conditional use, and it does require that access and parking be located in the rear yard. So my assumption would be that they'll have some kind of access there, but the applicant could probably further address that.
Yeah, and you can see there's the paved alley there, and then like Stacy had mentioned, that is where it is required to be,
Patty,
and there's space.
could you come up?
Public hearing is open. If you'd approach the microphone, state your name for the record.
My name is Patty Veeder.
Patty, you guys intend to park in the rear by the alley and have a door coming in and out of the alley into this living quarter area?
That's correct.
Thank you. And then Brandy, because is there a requirement to have a fire-rated wall between the living quarters and the other part of the building?
Yep, and so that will be reviewed when they come in for the building permit to assess the existing uses and then to make sure that the unit is protected.
And Patty, you're planning on doing this, you and Gary are going to be doing this, but then you're in the process of possibly selling the property?
We're in the process of selling it, and a potential purchaser is asking this request. So we're just making sure that it's possible to sell it. Otherwise, they might not be interested in buying it. So, and actually, it's not the collision center. It was a storage building just to the south of the collision center.
It's primarily Gary's car storage right now,
It was,
right?
yes, and now he's selling it, so, yeah.
Are you planning 1 bedroom or 2 or 3 or?
I believe they would just put in a 1-bedroom. It's just a single guy that's interested in purchasing
And the only real restriction that we have on that conditional use is the requirement for the rear access and parking.
And Brandy, there are other situations in the C1 commercial district where there are apartments on the ground floor in a similar request that's before us, correct?
Yep, yep. Recent past was, we looked at the Sassy's Bar building, if you recall that one. That was last year.
And we didn't attach any additional conditions on that other than what was required in the ordinance.
Right. And then, you know, they do have the sufficient space for the off-street parking, so that is ideal. And then, you know, when they would be looking at obtaining the building permit, we would make sure that that was being reserved. The two.
Yeah, some of the other properties in the downtown area have less opportunity for parking in the rear than this particular site does.
Yeah.
There's quite a bit of parking actually there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause it's all about.
And actually, that's all cleaned up now too. It doesn't even look that junky anymore.
Is there any additional questions for the applicant from the board?
We just want to make sure then that it is also transferable when we sell it. You know, we're just applying for the permit, but I want to make sure that then the buyer, that it's transferable to them.
Yep, and it will run with the land, and then also, they just have to make sure that they're utilizing it within 1 year. So that otherwise, if it's not memorialized, and construction doesn't begin within the year, then it is null and void.
And you would explain that to them then when they apply for the permit, okay?
Yep. And that would just be good too, as, you know,
Tell them.
yeah.
Okay.
And so with getting back to the bedroom situation, is there any concern for parking if they did go more bedroom, or is that something that would be addressed at building permit time, Brandy? Or do we need to put stipulation on that now?
So if they're just doing the 1 unit, we would treat that as the two spots per unit. So and that would be like for a single family. And that's the only thing that, they're
Probably
just,
park about 7.
Not in the back, there isn't.
Yeah, there is.
There,
You know, I mean, but look at the cars right next to it. You could park 6 cars in that spot, even on the platted portion of it.
Mr. Chair,
Sorry.
Yes, sir.
I was just going to stipulate that we don't need to add a condition because the conditions are already contained within the ordinance, so, but it's a good question.
Correct, yep.
Brandy, does this conditional use limit them to only one apartment, or if the new owner wanted to put in multiple units, I mean, does this give them kind of carte blanche, or does it specifically limit them to?
let me clarify that. That's actually, I was gonna pull the ordinance up, because I had questions on that too. So,
And yeah, go ahead, Brandy, but I feel like it's you requested it for 1 unit.
Yeah, I don't
and
see
not
them-
the number of bedrooms.
It's just a retired guy.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he's
Yeah.
just looking to make a man cave possibly out of it, you know, so I don't see any
You're not
additional.
seeing like 2 or 3 units that
No,
would be in there or
I don't-
something like that.
No, I
Okay.
don't believe that. I could almost be 100%.
Could you make it bigger? Old eyes over here, I can't see that far away.
so it just has the, it could be more, but the request is for the 1.
But then, again, it would all be a function of available parking, the number of units. Correct?
Is there anybody else there to speak either on behalf or against while the public hearing is open?
I'm not seeing anybody, Blake.
Hearing none, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing.
Sorry about
I'll move to approve the conditional use, Colleen.
I can't see the room, so.
You needed some feedback there.
I'll
Thanks,
make a
Todd.
motion to approve the conditional use, Colleen.
Second case,
A motion and a second. Any additional discussion on this before we take a vote? All right, we'll proceed with the roll call vote.
All right, Kays,
yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Dargis Johnson,
yes.
Aletsky,
Yes.
Colhane,
Yes.
Dolly.
Yes, that motion passes. Moving on to item 5 is open
you so
public
much.
comments.
Thank you.
Is anybody to speak on something that was not on the agenda today? Don't see anybody
No.
online. Nobody in the room?
Actually, I might be able to do this during open public comment, Mr. Chair. You
Yep.
can tell me if this belongs here or not. We did notice for an item, in case the public is watching and trying to follow items, we noticed for a business for conditional use. And I think it's safe to say that it was for yard cards. We will likely be seeing that at a later date. So if somebody got a notice and is watching for that, or saw that in the paper, that has, application is being delayed and further reviewed. So just to let everybody know, if they got a letter, that we will not be hearing that this evening.
And Stacy, if that does come back on a future agenda, would it get public noticed again?
Yes, absolutely. It would get public noticed again, and then we would also send out the adjacent landowners to people within the 200 feet of the business. Or
Perfect.
250,
Thank you, Susan.
250 feet of the business. Thank you, Brandy.
All right, moving on to item 6 is new business. Any new business topics?
No, none that I
On
have.
to item 7 is old business.
Again, none that I
Anything on
have.
old?
And yeah, thank you for that, clarifying that, Stacy.
You're welcome.
And then I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn. Oletzky?
Do we have a second?
Second.
I'll take a roll call vote.
All right. Dolly,
Yes?
Colhane,
Yes.
Oletzky,
Yes.
Dargits Johnson,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Case.
Yes.
All right, we're adjourned for the Board of Adjustments. We'll reconvene here momentarily.